Welcome everyone to the B stream here for CRL. We got some more Rocket League action. It's basically 5 days a week that there are CRL matches happening because there are so many teams competing in both the Eastern and the Western conferences. We'll get into that a little bit later. But before that, I am Vaudible doing the play-by-play announcing for today. And instead of Hunted like we had last week, we actually have Meet and Greek. How are you feeling about the insanity that has been all the matches that we have seen so far?
Vod, it's been incredible. Of course, all these teams in a 16-team round robin for both the East and Western Conference. So that's a lot of Rocket League. Each team has to play 15 matches for their entirety of league play. And a lot of these matches actually, Vod, off stream, they have to schedule themselves. So it's actually gives them a lot of flexibility, especially because they're in college. They have a lot on their plate.
They have a lot on their plate, and there's a lot on the line for all of these teams. Only the top 8 out of each of the regions, or I guess conferences, will be able to make it to their respective regional playoffs. And the top 2 from that actually make it to the LAN itself. Why don't you tell us where that LAN event is happening and where people can get tickets, George?
Oh boy, this LAN event is happening in the sweet Arlington, Texas, folks. Get your tickets at rlesports.gg/CRL. Early bird ticket pricing of $10 is available until October 31st, Halloween. But starting on November 1st, ticket prices will increase to $15. Ticket prices at the door will be $20, and anyone under the age of 13 can get in for free. Again, tickets available at rlesports.gg/CRL. And oh boy, Nick, we have some great matches tonight and for the rest of the weekend as well. Of course, you noted Hunted is not here tonight, but he will be on tomorrow with Squid. So, of course, we always have the stacked, wonderful casting crew we got here on the B stream. So I'm excited for what is going to come next for our CRL matches.
It's going to be a pretty great night and few days as well. And next 2 weeks, too. This is the second week out of 3 for the round robin to happen, and then we get into the promotional playoff. But we need to talk about these two teams, the UCF Knights versus RIT Esports. You talked to some of the players. What were their thoughts?
Yeah, so I actually talked to Chaos from RIT. I noted how RIT had a little bit of a rough start. I believe they started out like 0-3 or 1-4, and it wasn't looking too great, but they've bounced back. They're now 4-6, and I talked to Chaos, and I asked him how he felt and the team felt going into this UCF matchup, and he told me, honestly, we have no idea how UCF plays, but we've been trying to have a lot more infield passing. So I guess that's his quote directly. So, hey, infield passing creates those 1-2 really fast shots on net. That might be enough to get by UCF. The University of Central Florida Knights are sitting at a pretty 6-4, and actually talked to Dirty Eagle as well and asked him about how the team was doing. He said, I would say that we are feeling a lot better. We started out slow, but we've been working on our comps and rotation, which is helping out, and we're winning more because of it. I feel with snipes and bits, I am able to relax a little more and let them pop off. So I love my teammates. He sent a heart emoji too, and we are definitely looking forward to our match against RIT. So both teams feeling very confident. They have a little bit of a swift swash on their their standings here. Of course, UCF 6-4, RIT 4-6. Let's see if they can tie things up a little bit here if RIT takes the win.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty intense matchup because both these teams are almost at the end of all the matches they need to play. This will be the last one, I believe, on stream for RIT Esports.
Oh, wow.
And we're also going to see the UCF Knights a little bit later as well against the USF Bulls, which will be happening next week. But they both have 5 matches remaining for their season. So RIT, they could change it around. And as you mentioned, they did get most of their wins after a 4-match losing streak. So we'll see what happens there.
It was a rough start regardless. It was a rough
start, especially 12-26. But we see the UCF Knights 21-19. So we'll see how these teams fare. And we're actually going to get into this matchup right away and see how these teams match up against each other. Will the UCF Knights come out on top and try to stay in the top 8? Or will RIT Esports be able to bring their, score back to a reasonable level? And that's a great way to start out there.
Yeah, and actually what I'm liking so far, we're really early in this game, but we're seeing a lot of aggression, but Snipes Oh my goodness, I'll take another look at this play. It was a pinch involved here, but Bits doing a lot of work to get this one downtown. It looked like RIT had a really fast start here, VOD, but all of a sudden, everything just completely 180.
Yeah, completely turned around. Snipes was able to take command of the field, and now he's doing the same thing again. Not a good spot to be in for Queso, but instead Sunblaze will knock that aside. Now Bindo, he puts a shot towards that backboard. Great defensive play by Dirty Eagle to get in the way of that ball, but there's another good clear. There's no one in net currently. They aren't able to hold on to the ball well enough to keep up the pressure.
Yeah, but RIT, maybe they can get some more offensive pressure going on. They're having the slight glimmers of hope there as Queso, formerly known as Chaos as well to folks at home, going up for an aerial shot on net. I'm liking what we're seeing from RIT. They want to keep passing more. I want to see them continue this forward.
Ooh, that would have been a beautiful shot from RIT. Unfortunately, they could not get the connection they wanted, so that is going to give up more space on offense to UCF Knights. Instead, Bindo, he's making sure there's no possession at all for his opponents. Gives it up to Sunblaze. Snipes will rip it away. But Bindo, he's been the defensive mastermind on that back wall so far.
Yeah, he has, and that's super crucial at this level of Rocket League. Your backboard defense is so important. You can't let that ball bounce right into the midfield in front of your net. That gives a really great opportunity for the offense to throw some shots in.
Ooh, and almost saw a shot go in right there, but will finally get cleared away from the RIT half. Now the UCF Knights, you just got to make sure it doesn't break past that midfield line, and they've been doing so well that they actually disrupt the defense enough for a wide open net.
Yeah, I want to take a look at where the RIT defense is. You can see Bindo and Sunblaze in the same areas in Queso as well. They're kind of triple committing into one small section of the field, and Dirty Eagle is able to take complete advantage. Almost no pressure on that play. He just has to waddle that ball into the net. It's a 2-goal lead now for Central Florida. Let's see if they can keep this up.
Well, a good demo to open up some space on the blue half, but Snipes has been very strong on the defensive end, almost strong enough to force one through the last defender there. Sunblaze taking him out of the play completely. They don't want to have to worry about him at all. They still have to worry about Bits, who is keeping up that offensive pressure. The bump did buy them some time, but don't know how well that's working. Snipes going up for this one, contested by Sunblaze. Now comes Bits, a good drop to the side and just enough to squeeze on by.
Yeah, and actually I want to take another look at the defense here because I thought that RIT had bodies in net, and they did, but I don't think Bindo had any boost in the tank. Unfortunate circumstances there. As now you're RIT, you're down 3 goals. You're about half the minute left, or half the game left here in game number 1. Nick, what do you have to do to really come back from this?
I mean, we keep seeing Queso going for these very unorthodox saves, so maybe if his teammates are being relied upon a bit more defensively, they might be able to get something going and get a transitional play. Or, you know, Bindo will just force it through himself. He's just going to take the initiative and get that first goal for RIT.
Yeah, and the defense here for UCF, they gave Bindo so much time. They had no pressure on him at all, nothing to rush him. He was just able to cradle that ball into the back of that net. 3-1. This could be the start of something here for RIT.
It's a great way to get started, but it might be too little too late unless they keep giving up space like this. There's a good transitional play about to happen, but Bits read that from a mile away. Queso now trying his own, but again, Snipes on that back wall. Can't get it past the last defender near the midfield. So we will see more possession, at least in the blue half, out of RIT if they can hold on to this one. They keep giving up too much space to the defense, allowing them to break out their own end. Now we need to see a follow-up from RIT if they want to keep the ball in play, but it's just some back and forth across that midfield line, and now it might be in the favor of UCF Knights to take advantage again, and especially after the bumps there. Sunblaze cleaning that play up. Bits will actually try to take command of the play on offense. Send it backwards for not Snipes, maybe Dirty Eagle. It's actually going to go to Bindo instead into that corner. Solid clear, but right into the clutches of Sunblaze. Again, goes off that backboard. And we keep seeing these big booming clears out of RIT, and they need to hold on to the ball a lot longer than they are now, especially when they give up that much space on the transition.
Well, here's the problem. When you're booming that ball downfield, you're not passing it to your teammates. You're not creating offensive opportunities. Instead, you're just giving that ball back to UCF. And when you can give Dirty Eagle a shot on net from 5 feet away, he's going to throw it in, Nick, every single time.
I mean, we've seen it happen twice so far. The shooting accuracy out of UCF Knights is pretty on point. They've really only missed 1 or 2 at the most, and we've only seen 4 total shots out of RIT. The one that Bindo took was him just forcing it through Sunblaze. We've seen a lot out of him on offense, but not enough to really put any good pressure on. And now, again, Snipes, open season. Could have just scored that himself. Bits with the secure, though, and we keep seeing this defense and the rotation on RIT break down.
Yeah, but there was also a demolition on Queso that could have had something to do with it. But of course, when you're RIT and you're down already by 3 goals, now 4, you're pretty much going to play an empty net regardless, trying to get at least something on net. You need to build up some momentum going into Game 2 because you really need it, because you cannot drop another match against UCF, because coming back with a first sweep, it's going to be very difficult.
Well, especially because of how well UCF have been doing on this season. They're 6-4, whereas RIT are 4-6. Mirror images of each other by the way they have been playing. RIT did manage to get some wins after a 4 loss streak, but you know, there was a good shot from Queso, and that's really the first time we've seen him active at all on offense.
Yeah, but look at this pass come in from Sunblaze, reading it off the wall, Queso, and talk about an angle, get the protractor out for that one, VOD, because Queso seeing it from way downtown, reading it like a book, and 5-2. RIT, you know, it's out of their favor from here on out. 10 seconds left, you're not coming back. However, that's a good way to start your chances in Game 2. Get a little bit of that momentum back, knowing you can score against UCF. You can score multiple goals, of course. And hey, all you need to win the game is 2 goals. You just can't really let in 5 on your end.
Yeah, especially,
I mean, the math checks out.
Let them in as well. Like, the math checks out, but so does the, I guess, mechanics we've been seeing out of RIT Esports. They keep overcommitting on the offense, bunching up like we saw defensively too, and leaving it all up to one player. So Queso would usually be left in his own net at the goal line, and he'd have to make these crazy saves because of all the passing that we keep seeing from UCF Knights. So maybe we'll see more out of RIT if they work as a cohesive unit on offense and on defense. It just seems like they've been kind of all over the place so far in that first game.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to highlight really quick for this matchup while we're waiting for Game 2 to start up is that these players should go back and watch the VODs here for these matches. I know a couple of them have already complimented the fact that they've been able to do so, and it's helped them out a ton. And if I was RIT right now, I would take a good look at this matchup, because what I saw from them that I think they could have excelled a little bit more at is their defense in the net. They had bodies in the net for multiple goals, but no one really going up. Maybe it was a communication issue on who's really the first in rotation to maybe challenge, or something else was going on. And they have great mechanics, but they just couldn't piece it together, except for some of the plays were able to work out for them. So that's what I want to see from RIT. From UCF, I want to keep on seeing that good backboard defense. They've been doing a fantastic job of keeping that ball away from the clutches of RIT in their own box. If they can keep that up, they're really going to limit a lot of offensive possession.
Especially what we've seen from Snipe so far. He's been the mainstay on the defensive line, clearing that away from that back wall as much as he can. This time we have Bits taking that role from his teammate and doing quite well with it, winning that challenge and taking all the boost he can, as long as he is staying in their half of the field, making sure they don't have as many resources to work with to break the other side. And that's what really worked so well for them in that first game too. There wasn't too many of those corner boosts that RIT were able to get to try and break out their side, even with everything that could have gone right on defense for them. Dirty Eagle, though, he's put in a great shot right past the defender, a great challenge, and that is just beautiful work by him.
Yeah, and talk about a great pass from Sunblaze, even though it was towards the other team. I did like the backboard attempt by him to get that ball away, but unfortunately just popped right back into Dirty Eagle, so great read. If Sunblaze could have maybe gotten a little bit more on that, could have been a much better clear downfield, but instead, that's how deadly UCF is VODable. They will take whatever you give them and turn it into a scoring opportunity.
We've seen that happen so many times with this team. Oh, there is a bit of a collision between the blue half of the field. This might open up a spot. There's Bindo. He actually could have given that up to Sunblaze, but he was not pushed up enough on the challenge. And we've seen so many overcommits from RIT. You would expect them to be there when there's finally an opening on offense, but fortunately that time they weren't able to get in position at the right moment. There might be a chance here, but Queso is not going to get the angle he needs as the defense has just read the play from so far away. Now they're on the transition and might have a shot here.
Yeah, and RIT when they're getting downtown, but watch out here, Snipes might be able to do something. Unable to, Nick, but as I'm saying, when RIT's downfield and they have an opportunity on the ball, I've seen it happen so many times now, they hesitate just a little bit here and there, but goodness. Let's take another look at this play.
Yeah, Bindo actually not the greatest of clears, especially because he got baited out by Dirty Eagle, so he had to send that one forward off the ceiling. And then the other member of UCF came in, set it up for his teammate. Queso, there's really not much he could do in that situation, especially with kind of being 1v3 as it was. Now there's another chance here for UCF, and they're just taking advantage of any space that is given to them. They really haven't had the most shots out there.
Here's an opportunity.
Oh, wait.
Oh, okay. RIT coming in through here, and they're playing more aggressive. I like that. Sunblaze is already up on the field. You can call this a cherry pick. It was going in or not, you know, whatever. But the fact of the matter is that someone is up there and they're taking a shot, and they're there before UCF. So many times now we've seen RIT just a split second late. Maybe they should have been there a little bit earlier, but now they're starting to switch it up, turn the tides, and maybe, just maybe, this could be a change for their offense.
It's been beautiful to see that kind of a connection, but it reminds me of the play that we saw from them to get the first goal in the last game. That was almost an open net, but Sunblaze is able to just take his time here, cannot dribble because no boost in the tank, get around Snipes. There's a potential setup here. Oh, did not get a follow-up. Dirty Eagle might, but Bindo in position to deny that access to the goal. Sunblaze all the way up, back to Dirty Eagle. Snipes could not take it far enough, but this does give an opportunity, you would think, for RIT to keep up the pressure. They have some right now. There's a good setup, but nobody in position again. You'd think with how being down by one game and down by a goal as well, that RIT would put up more of a presence on offense. Not the double commits like that, though.
No, well, here's the thing. They are committing to the ball, and they are creating some offense, and they're generating it. However, there is still a little bit of that slight hesitation. They're starting to regress a little bit to what they started this game out with. I want to see faster passes coming out from RIT because they hold the ball for too long before they try to attempt to pass it to a teammate maybe who's centered and ready for a shot, and that just really eliminates the offensive opportunity because UCF sees that, and they're so quick to challenge that they're just going to steal it away.
We've seen that happen so many times too. UCF just given the space by RIT. Now Sunblaze, he was almost able to make a solo effort pay off by himself. Fortunately, not going to be the ruling there. Dirty Eagle, big boomer of a shot towards that backboard. Bindo with a great read, sends it from whence it came. Bits of a pop-up, try and slow down the advance of RIT. Less than a minute remaining. Great drop down, but the execution denied by Dirty Eagle. Queso might have a chance to clear this one away, but follow through was not quick enough. Again, we keep seeing so many interceptions from UCF on any of the clears or the potential setups and passing plays from RIT. That's really what has opened up so much space for them so far, and with less than 30 seconds remaining, we need to see a solid effort out of RIT on offense, and this doesn't seem to be it.
Yeah, I want to see a very different RIT team because they had the, I guess, the style there. They scored a goal in a fantastic passing play. However, they just kind of lost their spark after that. They weren't able to gain any momentum, which is kind of odd because you want that to hype up your team because it's a great opportunity to tie this series, but this ball's going to be centered. But again, RIT, that ball hits the ground because nobody is there. Someone has to be on top of that ball and taking the shot. You need to be faster. I know it's tough to just say that, but I really do think if RIT just speeds up their game even just a tiny bit, I think it would be a tremendous difference. And it's not that like they need to be forcing themselves to play, but they need to control the tempo of the game, and they
need
clearly
to control
aren't.
the tempo. They need better possession, because whatever they are on offense, it seems like they're just giving it away to UCF. And when UCF had the ball in their half, and we haven't even seen RIT, all three members, be involved in a play since that first goal, it just seems like they're giving up everything to UCF and not challenging them before they even get to their box. And that's an issue that they need to address, because they shouldn't even have to make some of the saves they've been unable to make, like Queso and net all the time when there's a challenge from two of the UCF members. They instead are just giving up so many opportunities to UCF, whereas RIT, they only had 2 shots that game. And that's the worst that we have seen so far from that RIT team. Even though they didn't get scored on as much, they were able to intercept a lot more plays, put a pressure in the midfield. They just couldn't get past that point. So maybe if they're able to break past the midfield line, keep up the boost, and get some sort of coordination on offense, they'll look better going into that next game.
I 100% agree. I think it's going to be very tough for RIT to start this reverse sweep because they have to change so much about their play style right now. But I think it can be done, Nick. I think that this team has the skills. We've seen it already. They're hitting these fancy shots off of the side while they're getting out our protractors to take a look at these angles that they're hitting. All the pieces to this puzzle are there. The Tigers just got to put it together.
And we have seen some great stuff out of RIT Esports in some of the other matches against teams you would not really expect them to win against. They won against Waterloo. They won against Miami University. So they have potential. They just struggle sometimes to get it going. And it seems if they're able to get those first matches going, then it works out well for them. But since they're already down by 2 in this series, it's going to be very difficult for them to come back, pull off that reverse sweep. And they're going to need all the tools in their arsenal to do it. We'll see what happens here. Game 3, potentially the last one we see on stream of RIT Esports. But we hope for them and our sakes that it gets to more than just the sweep here on College Carball, because we're used to seeing those happen quite a lot.
Oh no.
A little bit sometimes.
That's not doing us a favor.
No, not at all. But great touch from Bindo. We'll send that one off to the corner. Sunblaze not able to get the connection at all. And again, giving up that space to UCF. Luckily that bounce worked in their favor, and Sunblaze still missing these touches. Snipes, Dirty Eagle, Bits. They're just given all the room to work with. No one home again! This should not be happening for RIT.
It really shouldn't, but take a look. Sunblaze pre-jumped that. Ooh, like so far off. And you're the last man back. You have to understand that as that man in the rotation, you have to go ball side of the net. You have to go play defense, and you can't miss. You only go for that if you know you're not missing.
And we've seen so many of the players on the defensive end. And again, an open opportunity. That's going to lead it to a second goal. You can tell that RIT are desperate to get on offense and score something, that they are just tripping over each other, overcommitting on these plays, double commits on offense. And this isn't the RIT that took down Waterloo or Miami. This is the team that we saw lose 4 matches in a row. And looking to the rest of their season, they might not even make it to the playoffs if things continue this way.
Wow, Vaughn, that was the most savage thing I've ever heard on stream.
Well, you gotta be real sometimes, though.
I'll come in and be the good cop here. It's a silver lining. They let 2 goals in, but they only did... Sorry, never mind. They let 3 goals in, but it's only been 1 minute and 13 seconds left. That means they still have the whole almost 4 minutes left in this game. That's plenty of time to score 3 goals. They scored 2 goals in game 1. They can do this. They have to come together and get this offense rolling, but they cannot forget defense. I think they heard us talk about how they need to increase their offensive pressure, but they completely forgot about their defense, and that's a scary play right there when Bindo's the last person back and decides to go for that aerial, because if he missed, it would have been another open net opportunity, and then UCF would be up 4-0.
Ooh, it's Sunblaze. Almost able to use that wave dash in his favor, but again, the defense a bit too strong on UCF Knights. And they've been filling up the blind spots of each other on the defensive end, making sure that when there are offensive opportunities for RIT, because there has been a few of those, they've just been shutting them down before they even develop on their own half of the field. And intercepting so many of these plays on offense is really what has done RIT in defensively, because they've been breaking them apart and making sure that they have that open net whenever they want it, which has been to the credit of UCF on offense.
Yeah, but UCF, it's almost like they're not even working out there. They're playing so confidently. It's they can go for a triple commit and they don't care because they know RIT isn't applying that pressure. That's how desperate RIT is. If they let that happen on their half of the field, something's going wrong.
And as you mentioned earlier, they do have half the game. And as I say that, I feel like I might have cursed them a little bit. That play was already developing. Dirty Eagle opening up the space. And it's just been these misses defensively where they've been already caught out of position and might as well go for a crazy save. And unfortunately for RIT, none of them have worked so far.
No, and again, what we talked about a little bit earlier, if you're RIT, save these replays, save the VOD, go back and watch and do some replay analysis with your team. Trust me, it helps. I know a lot of these college players, they are really busy with their classes, so I completely understand. I was an engineering student once too, and it was rough. But if you can just scrape together a couple minutes a night, just go over these replays, you can figure out what your team is doing wrong. You can fix so many different communication errors just by watching your team. And a lot of the top teams that do this, like LSU, Arizona, Cal Poly Slow, they are the teams that come together and put the time in every week to solidify their game, and that's why they're at the top right now. Especially because LSU, for example, they're currently 9-0.
Yeah, they are dominating their conference, and that's the same as Akron on the opposite end of the Mississippi River. But I do want to talk about that last goal there, though. That was beautiful to see the demo leading to that opening of the net, and I feel like that's the crescendo of UCF on offense, where they are actually able to just break apart what is happening here with RIT, and we're seeing these double commits. RIT, they're already down by 5, so they might as well go for something crazy at this point.
Yeah, no,
like Stacks has said a lot of times, we like to refer to him calling these kind of garbage goals because the game is basically over at this point, other than the time remaining on the clock and potential for a miracle of events to happen on offense. But it's great to see UCF, how well they've been performing. Gives them more confidence going into their later matches because they still have to play the USF Bulls, the Guelph Griffins, Nova, and OSU Gray for the remainder of their matches. And
those are
for
tough
RIT,
teams.
Yeah, those are tough teams. For RIT, they also have to play Guelph, Rowan, Rutgers, and the USF Bulls. So there's still more matches for these teams to play after this. So there's potential for RIT to make it into that top 8. But if you're going to play against UCF like this, you definitely need to listen to Meet and Greek's advice and look at those replays and break down how was the net open as much as it was. I feel like that's the biggest question they need to answer.
Of course, and they also have to hit up the whey protein training packs for all of their shot needs. But, that's what all the pros use apparently. But goodness, it's gonna be rough for RIT. However, I think it's nice that they don't have to play every match on stream. They get to schedule their remaining matches on their own time, which will make it a lot easier. They're going to be able to end tonight with a loss, but they won't have to carry the weight of a loss into another match. So it gives them some time to prep and see if they can bring and save their season.
And that's exactly what you want to do. You want to take each match at a time. You don't want to worry, especially after this kind of result. Okay, the first and the last game, probably not the greatest. Now we see an own goal happening, 8-0. They're just having fun with it at this point. But I really think it is just that giving up too much space to their opponents and not having a solid strategy on offense when you get blocked for whatever you are attempting, because we kept seeing that happen defensively for UCF. They were able to get in the way and intercept any of the challenges happening by RIT. So if RIT are able to come up with a solution for that, they'll be that much stronger going into the remaining matches of the season.
Yeah, nope. Bod, you're completely right. Unfortunately for RIT, the 8-0 match in Game 3 will solidify the sweep for the UCF Knights, and they will be going down to, I believe, 4-7. UCF will go up to 7 and 4. So
yeah,
they're still mirror images of each other on their records, but sometimes it's just like that. RIT, though, hey, they played their hearts out. Just unfortunate that it couldn't be enough for them to make this a more competitive series.
It is very unfortunate to see that from RIT, but as a lot of people have probably mentioned when watching RIT as a team, they're very flippy-floppy. Sometimes they're really great and have so much potential. Other times they don't have that consistency, and that really shows the difference between the top teams in CRL, or even in rival series or RLCS, and kind of the lower end or even middle of the pack. Consistency is key, and if they can find that, they have great matches that they have won before, and hopefully the remaining, I believe, 4 matches that they have go well for them, and those will be off stream, so a lot less pressure to worry about.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Some teams that are more around their skill level as well, not really the top like we see with all of these other rosters that are just dominating the Eastern bracket. Instead, we'll see more out of them maybe a little bit later, and hopefully once everything is said and done, the dust is settled, they still make it into those top 8 teams for the regional playoffs, for the Eastern Conference at least.
Yeah, and with that, we're going to take a quick break before our next matchup, folks. We're going to have the Waterloo Warriors up against the Guelph Griffins. You're watching the CRL B stream here on the College Carball Association. We'll be right back.
Back to a reasonable level, and that's a great way to start out there.
Yeah, and actually what I'm liking so far, we're really early in the game. A lot of questions,
All right, now the UCF Knights. Just got to make sure it doesn't break past that midfield line. They've been doing so well that they actually disrupt the defense. Not by the time, but don't know how well that's working.